morning, all my crafty friends. It's Nana Kay here with NanaKayDesigns.com and the Altered Book Nook on Etsy.com. I've got a little project here. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm going to show you my twist to a waterfall that I'm going to add into my journal. This is the little journal I'm working on right now. It's just a simple cover made with a brown paper bag, and I've got it all covered now. I'm using my Wildflower Melody kit. I've got 2 signatures ready with the stitching already done the sides, and my protector tabs have already been added on. So this journal is ready for us to start decorating. So my first project, let's lay this aside. My first project is I am going to work on a waterfall. This is a waterfall. Everybody's familiar with waterfalls, but this one has a little twist. So what we're going to need to do this is, let's see, we need 5 envelopes. Really the size of the envelope is not all that important, because once you get it, you're going to adjust it to the size, adjust your waterfall to the size of the envelope. So this waterfall is going to fit fine in my envelope, in my signatures. So you just have to make sure that it is going to fit in the signature. So it can even be wider. So the envelope size is not a major deterrent, so don't get panicky if you don't have them. These are, let me see, what I'm working with are 5 and 3/8, I guess, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 3/8. It's a 5 and 3/8, 6 and 3/8. I'm not sure what size that is. I'm sure it's some kind of a greeting card size, but that's the one I'm working with. Now, let's just start the process. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Getting it put together is your first goal now, and I'm going to show you, let me go ahead and show you what the twist is. The twist to my kit, or to my waterfall, is the fact that it's made with envelopes. That's the first thing. I make my waterfall with envelopes. The second is that once you open it up, you're going to do your design on here, open it up, and then you're going to have a pocket or a tuck. If we seal this here, it'll be a pocket. If we don't, it's just going to be a tuck. How I decide what I'm going to do will be towards the end. We'll decide that once we start decorating. But let's get the base done, because you can get several of these done. They can be used in any of your journals. I am using, like I say, the Wildflower Medley is going to be the kit that we're going to use with this. They are on my Etsy site. You can look it up. It's also on my NanaKayDesigns.com site. I'm not sure if I have it in coffee or buy me a cup of coffee yet. I'm not sure I have it in those 2 sites at this point in time, but we'll figure it out. Okay, first step is I had to fold my envelope in half and be very cautious to try to make sure you get it folded as evenly as possible, because you want these sides to line up as straight as possible to make it aesthetically pleasing to the eye. All right, so that was a half cut. Well, that was the half fold. So I went in after I half folded it, and I took my cutter and I measured. And I actually have a little rim here on my cutter, but it's actually like 3.5. No, not quite 3.5. It's not quite 3.5, so it's 1, 2, 3 3/8 is where it actually fell at. And I am going to cut my envelope at that 3 3/8 inch mark, which actually lines up with this rim right here, so it's easier for me just to line it up right there. But 3 3/8 is what it ended up. I'm going to cut it in half, and just to make sure we're in good shape, I'm going to turn this one over and make sure that it is 3 3/8 like it was supposed to be. It doesn't cut anymore. And we've got, looks like just a little bit of a edge here where I folded it, so that won't happen again. But I'm going to go one more time and make sure I pull that out. Just make sure that we're cutting right. Okay, so it looks like it's going into the groove. So I am going to have to take my scissors, and this never fails. This did not do this on the video. You know what? I'm just going to set that piece aside. I'm going to do another one, and we're not going to fold it. Then I won't get that little lump. So here, let's try it again. So we know the envelope is going to be at that little mark that I just made. I'm going to cut this side. Then I'm going to turn this one over. Cut this one. And I need 5 of these. So I'm going to take my envelopes. I knew that was a little teeny slither there before. Okay, so that's what we had, a little slither off. So these 2 match. These 3 match. So we've got 3 of our 5. And we're going to do one more. And this should be 4 and 5. This is going to be all we need. Cut that side. Make sure you turn it over back to the cut side. And just make sure that you are at the same mark on this one. Okay, just a little slither is all that came out. All right, let's let this aside for just a second. Our next step is this. All right, now these particular envelopes, I have this great big flap and I don't need it. On this one here that I did, I used an envelope that had that little just that small flap. So it depends on your envelope whether you do this step or not. But for me, I have to do this next step. So this next step is I want to cut all but 1 inch off of this. So, and lay these aside. We don't need any more envelopes right now. So lay them aside because this is what we're going to be working with. I'm trying to keep my desk clear, guys. All right, so then we're going to come in and at the 1 inch mark, which is right here for me on my cutter, I'm going to cut these down at the 1 inch mark. A moment of silence here while I cut. I'm going to try not to talk too much, bore y'all to death. I hope I'm not boring y'all. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I have got 103 new subscribers over the weekend, and I thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed. And I thank so much to those other crafters or designers who have so kindly shared my link with their customers or their friends or their subscribers, and it has really boosted me. I am almost to 500. When I hit 500, Nana Kay is going to do a giveaway on my channel. I'm going to start doing freebies once I hit the 500. So keep sharing, guys, and you'll soon start getting freebies. Once I hit 500, I will do a weekly freebie digital for everybody that's subscribers. All right, so next step, simple task. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. So we're going to take this flap, we're going to line it up on the fold line, and then we're going to mark the halfway mark with a pencil just very lightly. Doesn't have to be much, just enough that we can line up our flaps. So that's your next step, is lining up the flaps at this point. Take us for a minute, and then we're well on our way. I keep flipping my roller over, and if I don't put it down where the cork side is down, it will slide. All right. All right, we are putting it on the fold again, getting in the halfway mark, and I'm marking it. We don't have to do the last one, I don't think. I think this is the last one we have to do. I think we only have to do 4 to 5. But for safety's sake, just to make sure, that way we can grab them how we want to grab them. We'll go ahead and do them all, but you don't have to do but 4, I don't think. But I'm going to go ahead and do all 5. That way I don't have to come back and do it if I've made a misjudgment. Okay, so they're all over done. The ruler aside, put my pencil aside. All right, next we've got to cut one piece for the back. So if you noticed, I went ahead and made a backing on here. My back flap, which is that right there. I use a certain type of paper. I'm going to use this one right here on the one we're making now, okay? And I can't remember what size it was. Oh, I know what I did. To make sure I was correct, I took this, like this, and I just marked it with my pencil and cut it. So, let's pull it out here first. We're going to mark it right here. Let's do it the easy way. Just fold the flap down and do it the easy way. Okay, this is the size we need, or approximate size. So let's cut that out. So what I'm doing here is I am getting everything cut that I need to do the base. This is the base of the envelope waterfall. So cut that off for now. Cut this piece. Okay, so that's that last piece to finalize the flaps. Okay, so we'll lay that with that, lay that aside. We got another use for that piece of paper. All right, now let's go in and start putting together our waterfall. Okay, this is the first one. And the flap is going to open this way. So the next one, I want my flap be open opposite way. So I'm going to fold it up, then I'm going to line it up right here and here. Make sure you line it up on that side, like that. Okay. You're going to put your glue on what's left hanging out right here. Okay, then you're going to, again, just make sure you're lined up, and I pat it on the desk to make sure I'm kind of lined up. Do it like that. Look at it, make sure it's straight on both sides. Flip it back over, look at it this way, and it looks like it's pretty even. And it stays even until you get to about third or fourth one, so you got to just kind of pay attention. All right, that opened that way, so on my next flap, they open that way, and that's not important. You can have it open any way you want, or you can have them open all the same way, or you can't. You'd have to cut other ones if you did that, but that, again, is up to you. Okay? Line it up. Put my glue on, and I see my line here is showing it's not quite straight, so I am going to pick it up again and line it just again to make sure, and it is the envelope, so we still want it to stay lined up. Press it down, flip it back over. Looks like this one's a little off now, and it wasn't before, so we're going to twist it here, take my fingernail and press at that top fold, trying to keep it in line. And that's good. Okay, open this up again. And we're going to let this one open this way. Okay, fold the flap up, put it, line it up right there on that edge, tap down, make sure you kind of line it up on the same edge. That does help too. Okay, line it up. Let's glue it. Okay, you're going to glue it down. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of envelopes, guys, and I have got to find ways to use these envelopes. The envelopes came, if you're watching any of my past videos, these envelopes came from all those greeting cards I purchased in the storage bin sale that I bought out. So if you're interested in what I'm doing with so many greeting cards, you can watch that video, those videos. Okay, now we've got that straightened out. Let's make sure our flip is on. That really wasn't all that hard, was it, guys? Start at this top one, look at it. Just kind of make sure it's all lining up, and this one is lining up beautifully, I think. Got a beautiful waterfall there. All right, one last step. This is what's going to get glued down to my paper. So I am going to do this. And I'm going to trim this just a little bit more after I glue it on. I'm going to glue this on this back flap here. And if you don't want this big piece like this, if you don't want that, you don't have to have it. You can make this into a pocket underneath. I'm going to tell you how when we use it. But when you get ready to put this in, And I do want to trim that off while I'm talking and gabbing and having a good time. I want it off a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. I'm just going to see this thing. This one works better for me. Okay. Just take me a little tiny sliver off the bottom of that. I don't want it to peek out from underneath my waterfall. That's just me. But when I get ready to use this, if I want to, I can make this, put a piece of cardstock on the back of this, just kind of glue it like that, and then I can have actually a pull pocket off the side. A lot of different things you can do, either side. Okay, so that's down the road. We'll worry about that channel when we get to it. All right. All right. Now, on the inside, you've got this white space here with this little gap. Doesn't look all that aesthetically pleasing. So we're going to remedy that by taking our strip like this. And we're going to put it on our cutter like so. And we're going to see how wide it is first. It is, let's get it at 5 inches and just cut that strip off, and this will make it a whole lot easier. Just try to make the strip exactly even. I'm going to save that for something else right there inside my stack shapes, because I can use that strip for something, believe it or not. All right, we're exactly at 5 inches. So what I want to do is move this over to 4 1/2, which is right there. I'm going to cut a strip. That'll give me 2. And I'm going to cut it over to 4. That gives me another 1/2 inch strip. This is making sense, guys. And we'll cut one more just for safety measures in case we need another 1/2 inch, okay? So there's 3 strips. Save your paper. You might want to use it for something else. All right, now we're going to take the waterfall and we're going to put glue right here on this 1/2 inch place that we measured out. Remember, we measured a 1/2 inch out. That's what this strip is for. Just a little decorative band to go right in there, a 1/2 inch. Make sure it's going to fold like it's supposed to. If you got a pencil mark here, here is a good time to erase that little rascal off. Get it off there if you can. Okay, not, we'll figure another way to cover it up. Okay, I really think my paper should have been a little bit fatter, but I'm going to go with it because it's all going to get glued down anyway. We're just trying to make it look balanced. I don't like it, and I'm not going to argue with it, okay? I want it to be closest to this. I don't want a gap here. Okay, so we're just going to do it this way because there's not going to be a gap up there. So I'm going to do it really close down like this, right against the bottom one. There we go. Now that looks to my eye a whole lot better. Make sure it's still going to flip up, and it does. All right, then I'll take my scissors, and I am just going to trim this edge right straight across there. Okay. All right, so let's go on with that routine all the way through. Strip it. Make susure it's covered on this end completely. Make sure it flips up this way completely. Press it down. Excuse me. Press it down and cut this off. We're going to go with the third strip. Make sure we close this way. We do. Make sure we open this way. We do. Cut it off. Okay. Then our last one. No, we got 2 more. No, this is our last one. Okay. I really want to get rid of that pencil line, so I'm going to hope I can get this covered all the way to it. Yep. All right. Strip it down. Make sure it closes this way. We're getting a little bit of a grab there, so we're going to have to pull it and stretch it to get that grab off. Okay. All right, then we're going to push this one up And it's perfect. It's perfect as you can possibly get with something handmade. All right, and I cut too much off, but that's fine. All right, there we go. All right, so the base of your waterfall is now done. It's now complete. So we got a pocket opening this way, a pocket opening this way, a pocket opening this way, vice versa. All right. So now we're going to decorate. So what are we going to do for decoration? So what I am going to do now is I'm going to take page prints from the Wildflower Melody, which when I say page prints, I'm going to print some additional pages that we've used in the book here. And we're going to use those for our covers, to cover our waterfall. Okay? Same thing with our pocket. Now, I have got to make the decision whether I want to make this just a tuck spot or do I want to make it a pocket. And I am thinking that we'll have a whole lot less stuff sliding out if it is a pocket. So I've made myself a template to match it, and this is what I will cut my pocket out, my pocket cover out with is my template. All I gotta do is flip it over, and we'll get the same template on both sides, match it up as closely as I can. See, it's gonna match. And that's all. Just make sure you can do one, and then all you gotta do is just flip it over and do it like that. So you can cut your pieces by this. So if you wanted to, you can just go right out and start cutting these pieces. That's your next step. So I'm going to cut the video off. I'm going to go cut this piece here. And let me tell you one other trick. I'm going to want to cover inside here. Okay? But whatever I cut the size here should also fit in here with no problem. And if you don't want to make it all that long, you could actually cut a piece. Let's go ahead and cut one so I can really put an end to what I'm trying to tell you. All right. Let's cut this one. Where's my fold line? Okay. Here's the easiest way to do it, guys. Just lay your top one down. That's the easiest way. And don't quite put it on the edge. Give yourself a little space to cut off here. And then flip your whole waterfall back down and all right, go back like this and then measure it right there. Okay, to help you saw what I just did. I'm using the top one, holding all of them, and that's what I'm measuring. Now, what you will be able to do is go now and cut all these pieces out. You're going to have 5 fronts. Okay, and then you're going to need either 4 or 5 inside pockets. Let's go back and count to make sure I'm not telling you wrong. But you can go get these 3 cut. And as you see, they're going to fit on each one. Okay? No problem. See? Okay, then if you want to cut these, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Then we need our pockets on the inside, the filler cut. You can actually cut that like you just did, slide it in and glue it. If you're going to, now that's if you're going to make it a tuck spot. If you're going to make it a pocket and you're going to glue this down, you can actually save paper by cutting this in half like so and gluing it just like this, because you're going to glue the rest of that down and this is all it's going to show anyway. Okay? So I hope you followed. So now we are going to go off video and get all the rest of this cut. And we will finish decorating this and add it to our book. So just bear with me a little bit, but in the meantime, you can go ahead and get your base ready so that you can follow along with me on the rest of it. Be right back. And we got what we needed to hopefully cut out using the pencils. This was for the face front and for the piece inside, so I've cut some of those, and pictures. And then I went ahead and cut the ones, cut them all this size, and we'll just use this stencil to trim it up as we start putting the book together. This is the finished product right here. So this is our goal on this one right here that we're going to work on here. Okay, and back here I added an extra pocket, so we're going to do that also. All right, so let's set this aside. Let's pull out our waterfall base that we've already got done. And let's start. It's going to be a simple process now. These are the ones kind of that's not picturesque that we're going to use for the pockets on the inside like this. So let me just kind of separate them a minute. Hopefully we've got enough of everything. Okay, so these are the ones we're going to use on the front here. I already used that one on the front, so I'm going to use something different on this one because I do want them different. Real simple, guys. We're going to just whiz through the rest of this video, hopefully, because we got the base done. That was the first part, and now we're just going to glue on the things we need to glue on. And I am so hoping that my video is processing properly. I have done this 3 times, believe it or not, for a video of some sort 3 times, and I keep getting really garbled sound. So I've cut the sound down a little, and I'm hoping that this one is successful. That's all I can do. It's hope, right? All right, so we've got that front one on. I'm going to open it up. Got a little bit of white showing, but that's okay. A little bit of white's not going to hurt because we're going to stain the edges. I'm using Vintage Photo. And I'm going to come in and just go ahead and stain these edges like this. And that took care of my little bit of white that was peeping out. Okay, I am going to come back and corner these edges. We'll do that last. That's going to be the last thing I do once we get things together. All right, we've already finished the strips on the center. I cut one out using the template already. I put it down like this, measured it. So hopefully this is about the approximate size we want for our pocket. So we're going to glue this. Again, my favorite glue, Nana K's favorite glue is the Very Arts glue. I want to welcome you all to my shop today. It's a beautiful sunny day outside. I really would love to be out in it. But I've got goals to meet and people who are depending on me to get things done. So we're going to get through this. And I'm not happy with that much white, so I'm going to pull it off again. Yes, this happens when you're crafting. So don't ever get totally startled when I rip something off and start over, because you will find yourself doing the same thing more times than one. I'm going to go back down here and I'm going to try to do my placement better on this corner here, and everything else should fall in place. And it's not, so we might have cut it a little gippy. All right, now we're good. It's a process. It's just a process. That's all I can tell people. It's a process. Okay, we've got that done. Now, don't like all this white, so we cut some of it, or cut some of these out to match my band, and you can actually just slide this whole piece in there like so, but that's a lot of waste because you're not going to see that, because with this particular book I am going to glue this edge down and make it a pocket versus a tuck spot. If you were going to make it a tuck spot, I would highly suggest that you do you cut 5 of these this size and use it, but for me I'm just going to pop it in half like so. And then I'm just going to tear it. matter about that ragged edge because I'm going to put that on the inside right there. I am going to hold it up and I'm going to tap. Make sure we got a good coverage, okay? And I'm just going to stick it in and glue it and stick it in. That little slit there. Once you get all the elements cut out that you're going to use, it's the process of this waterfall really comes together a lot more quickly. But you're still going to have to do the elements that you're going to use inside the pockets. You may have stuff already done on your desk, like I have stuff up here over my head that we possibly can use some of. But the goal today is to get you through the process here. I got a little more white showing out front again. Now I'm going to trim this piece because I'm going to glue that side down anyway. So I'm going to just be careful. Don't cut the top envelope, but I'm cutting that little piece behind off a little. I don't want that to show as a white spot from the front. And I might try to trim this little bit that I just inked, but it's not showing now, so just a tiny smear. All right, so we got that one on. Now, last step here is to glue this edge right here to form your pocket. I would stay as close to this edge as I could. Okay, and when I'm gluing like this on an edge, and I want to keep as much space here, when I press down, I start from the inside and I pull outward. That way, if my glue spreads, it spreads towards the outward part of the pocket and not inside where I'm trying to maintain as much space as possible. Make sure you have this corner down good. Always, your corners are important to make sure that they're down tight. All right, so we'll go through the staining process real quick. I'm going to tell you something I should have done. I caught myself now that I'm videoing. Before I glued that down, which I can pull it up a little, I should have caught this edge with my ink. That way I won't get ink on my background, which I do not want to do. But that worked out fine. It was still wet enough I could pull it up. There's some glues you would not have been able, you wouldn't even have time to move like that. And the hotter the weather gets, you wouldn't have time to move like that. Okay, we're going to just do a little bit across the top here. And a little bit across this top. You probably have to ink again before it's over with. But that's your first page with your pocket done. So we're just going to move right along. Let's go with this pretty envelope on the next flap. Now, this is where you got to start being real cautious. You got to start making sure that this flip will flip up before when you glue it down. So let's just put the glue on first, and then we'll show how we just adjust it. Because you may have to trim off a little, even no matter how much your templates you cut them as precise as you can. There's always sometimes a little something off. So the first thing I do is I actually lift up before I start gluing. And then I kind of just let it fall in place before I even really press down. And I look at the back and I just kind of make sure that everything's in place. And then I start pulling it down this way because I don't want it to slide up when I press. So that's the key right there, is to make sure that your flip still goes up with ease. You're not having a lot of problem. All right, so I got a little more white space here than I want. I'm going to try to adjust it just a tiny bit. And there again, it might be that the stencil didn't, because I measured it by the first one, and the cuts are not always precise, so. And let's make sure we still want to flip, okay? Make sure we still got enough wet glue to get some adhesion here. Yep, that looks pretty good. All right, let me check my corners. No, that glue right there is not good. Didn't get it quite to the edge when I was putting glue on. And that's important, guys. It's real important on all these edges that you have plenty of glue. So you do not want all this to pop up when you're After you sell a book or if you give a book away, you want your work to be pretty solid. And I do attempt to make my stuff as quality as I possibly can. Because you know, and you know as well as I do, if you're doing this any length of time, that your time is money, and you sell these things for a decent amount of money when you sell them, and you want the quality there. You don't want to ruin your reputation by not having quality work. So do attempt to do it good quality. Give it 110% instead of just 100. Always do that little extra. Okay, so now we're going to take one of these and we're going to take this pencil and we're going to cut it. And I want a lot of the flower design to show on this one. I don't necessarily have to have that one. Let's look at the daisy. That's not got enough. I'm going to hold this one as a possibility. May not have enough to do all this humming and hawing with it. All right, that one's going to work. You get a lot. I'm getting a lot of daisies. So I'll put these two back over here. All right, this is what I do. You can either take your pencil and you can draw the line. I hold it firmly and I just cut. But this is because I've done several of these now and I've gotten the hang of it pretty well. But if you're unsure about holding it in place while you're cutting, I would suggest then that you actually draw it with a pencil. That's up to you. All right, glue it on. All right, now, there's going to be a little gap right here. Make sure you glue that down, or at least for my envelope there is. I didn't even check this one. Make sure underneath. But once I glued that on, it covered it. But just make sure that that's not a problem for you. I tell you, that will catch on your cards and things that you're putting in your pocket. Now, I got to get closer to this edge with this glue. And I did put a generous amount. I probably put more than I really absolutely would have to do what I need to do. But again, I'm trying to do most of my print along this edge here. I don't want a lot of white space showing right here, so I am trying to line it up as closely as I can to that corner and pull it down. And I am going to have a lot of white on this one showing, but that's okay. And that edge too. I may to change my template because I think I cut a little bit off my template a while ago when I was trimming. So that's another reason why you're probably better off to do it with a pencil so that you don't mess your template up. But the way I'm going to resolve that is I am just going to flip a little of that off right there. You don't have to do that with yours. Hopefully you measured and got it better than I did. But anyway, it's already stuck. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it. I got too much sticking out over here on this edge for me. All right. Now, all right, let's take the press down. I'll know more when I stain it how bad it looks. So, and then it's just because I don't like white space. That's it in a nutshell for me. But that looks fine right there. Doesn't bother me. That piece is not bothering me. I can really heavily brown that. There we go. That looks all right. Go ahead and get inked up all the way around. Got one more piece to put on this pocket, and pocket number 2 is done. All right. So now we did get a little gap up here on our front. Trim that off. Got a little bit hanging over right here I don't want. Trim that off. Be careful not to cut your pocket open. All right. Ink. Go back and ink. All right, now that other piece that we cut off, we're going to go ahead and put on the inside of our pocket, and then we'll glue our pocket down. And number 2 will be done. Okay, hold over the pocket and just slide it in, making sure you're going to be able to tap it down to the edge there. Okay, and pocket number 2 is done, except for this little strip here. Make sure to get that top corner down good. On the inside, pull out so that you're keeping your space again all the way. All right, so number 2 is done. Pocket number 2 is done. All right, let's go for this one. Okay, I like the daisy basket because there are a lot of daisies there, so we'll put the basket here. A little bit of hangover on this one. But again, I think y'all might have the idea of the technique at this point. But we're almost done. This has kind of been a fun project for me. This is my 3rd one I've made. I am calling this an envelope waterfall with pockets. Okay, I'm laying it up there first before I press down. I'm pulling it up again. Hopefully you can see to make sure that I've got a good flip still there. It's not going to mess my flip up. I'm going to come down and press the air out. Check my bottom down here, and I've got a little bit of edge. I can't see it well, so I'm going to do this. Now I can see it very well so that I can cautiously cut it. I'm not worried about cutting into that pocket, and that's the key there. You don't want to cut into that pocket. That trimmed it off. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to figure out what we want on our pocket here. Those are upside down, but you know what? I don't really worry too much about that. I think by the time you get it on there, you're not even going to notice that that's that way. I'm thinking I need to make sure this still may not cut as well as I want it because it looks like it's a little narrower than my template. So, okay guys, I'm concentrating. I'm sorry. I do get a little bit quiet when I concentrate. But anyway, let's see how this turns out. This template's a good idea though. It really helps you really get things done. I think we're good on this one. Even if a little bit of the white sticks out the side, you know we're going to ink it, so it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to get along this edge really good. Get as early start this morning as I usually do. I'm usually out here at my shop by 4, 5 a.m. And let's see, what time is it today? It's 8 o'clock, and I haven't been out here this long, so I've got a little bit of a late start for me today. It's okay, we're going to get it done. That looks nice. That one just kind of fell in place really easily. That looks really nice. Make sure we're not got the glue in our way. Let's go ahead before we ink up and tear our next one, our next insert, and go ahead and get it in. Like I said, if you were going to leave this as a tuck, you would want to use this whole sheet. But since I am making it into pockets, I am tearing it in half and saving a little bit of paper. I cannot believe that I sat here yesterday and did the one I showed you. But I did this one all on video. And I was like, okay, so I got it all ready to post to YouTube. And the sound was so garbled, you couldn't understand a thing I was saying. And that's the second time that has happened with my videos, and I am not sure what's going on. Now, I did have a Windows update, and I'm worried that my Windows update possibly has messed up something in this program. Of course, I'm using Logic Capture. I don't know what other people use. I've got a Logitech webcam. Those would be a top grade, but I may have to go and find me a new capture program, and I really don't know what I need in a capture program. All right, I messed up right there again. I didn't ink first, but it won't take but a second. So if anybody's got any suggestions of a good capture program that will work with a Logitech cam, because I'm not going to use my cell phone. I don't like using my cell phone to video with. Possibly, because I really don't know how. I'm not very good at it yet. All right, number 3 is done. Let's jump on to number 4. Let's get this show on the road. All right, I've got 2 more, and then I want to do something there, and I'll show you what I'm going to do there in a minute. Okay, we're going to go with this one next. Same thing again. Get your glue along those edges, tight as you can. I feel sure you guys have got the hang of it by now. So just for the sake of getting the video finished, we're going to go ahead and process, and I'm not going to go as slow. I'm really going to speed myself up, not the video. I'm just going to try to speed me up a little. Okay, so you can just watch my process. Probably not going to continue to talk myself through it. I'm just going to do it. I've pretty much shown you the steps that I did. Now, I do want to make a little comment here because I see something that needs my attention. Okay, so let me press that down first because the glue's already on it. But right along this edge where I actually put my pencil and drew my template on my paper to cut it out, I have a little bit of pencil mark. Now, it's likely that the ink would have covered it, but if you're not inking, you make sure that you go out and erase that, okay? Because mine was showing up a little. I'm not going to even worry about that little bit gap. A lot of ink on this edge. I like the way ink looks. I just love staining edges. It's something I like. Can't help it. That's how you'll get to things that are just certain ways you like things done, and you will just go for it. All right, that one up there, it's got a little bit of overhang again, so I just highlight it with my inker right quick. I'll come in and cut it off. Even it up. Make sure I got a good seal there. All right. Take care of it. All right. All right, now for the back pocket. What are we going to do there? If we're going to go this, a lot of purple in that. I could go with that. And I kind of like the sweet peas. See what I got up here. I like the pink too, though. All right, I think I'm going to go with this pink. All right, so template's got to go this way this time. So let me see. I'm going to cut a little bit of it off. Not a lot, but a little bit of the pink flower is going to come off of this one. Okay. This crucial edge is right here. Make sure that you ink it good. I'm not ink it, glue it. I got to pick my flap up and glue under there. I see that one's loose too. We got that glue. Let's get along this edge. That white on white is hard to see that edge right to start with. Think we're good? Yep, that looks good. Bring that down. I lost my little teeth. I already broke in half there. It fell somewhere, but that's okay. We'll cut it. We can tear another one. Not a big deal. It's not a big deal unless I get to the bottom and need one more and don't have it. That's the only time it gets to be a big deal. But I'll have enough. If I don't let misplace this when I'll have enough. Okay. Make sure I lay that right there so I will not misplace it for the next one. All right. I got on that edge there, so you still got a fold. Make sure you still got a fold, good fold there. Okay. All right. You're coming right along here. Okay, on the front, as you can see, I got a little white overhang from that one I just put on. So we're going to trim it off. Try to keep everything as balanced as we possibly can. Okay. And again, I forgot to do the pocket to that edge, but that's okay. No damage. And my chair got a little squeak today. All right, there we go. We're done here. I may need a little more glue right there on that corner. Again, these corners need to be down good, so watch out for that. All right, so we got 4 flaps done and we're on the last. I want my little one to go here. A lot of silence. That thing's strange. It's about time for me to get up and go warm my coffee back up. Go check on my husband, make sure he is up and at it. My husband worked 28 years in the route salesman industry. He was a milkman first and then the bread man. Yes, I have one child by the milkman and one child by the bread man. That's a kind of a personal joke around here. We love it. But he worked in that industry for 28 years, and his hours were he had to be to work most every day around 4 a.m. Both jobs. And he is now retired, fully retired. Bless his heart, I wish I could fully retire. But he has fully retired now, and that man will lay in that bed till 9 o'clock if I don't go run him up. He has just said he worked early hours all his life, and he is not going to be rushed anymore. And I do not blame him. Because I'm going to tell you, he would go to work at 4 a.m. Most of the time, people in our family thought, oh my gosh, you don't have no hours, because they would be around 3, and he'd be coming in from work, and they'd be thinking, well, you just don't put in no hours. But they didn't realize how early he go to work, or somehow it just didn't comprehend with them. And then he would go to work on a second job. So that man was exhausted by the time he got to bed at night. Then if we had one of the children who was in one of their moods and didn't want to sleep, who didn't get a great amount of sleep either. So there were days he went to work with less than 3 hours sleep many a time. But in all those years, the 28 years my husband worked, he never missed but one day of work for sickness. He would go to work sick and still work all day long. He was just amazing. He was amazing to me. He's an amazing man to me. And still, it's the same way now. He still works he just still works, but it's a lot of hours. As y'all know, if you follow me much on here, I am general manager for a motel, which I am really a dual action. I am resident and general manager. So there were years we actually lived on the premises. Now my son stays on the premises for us so that we don't have to be there at nighttime. So my son actually helps me, and he stays in my apartment there. But my husband, even though I am the one employed, he still does all my maintenance for me, all that kind of stuff. Any emergencies we have, he's the one on call. So he's still putting in hours even though he's retired. And sometimes I tell people he's tired and retired again. Because that job, honestly, that job really is a lot on us too. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of overhang here, but I'm going to go with it anyway and just make sure that I ink it really strong in that little corner. I don't know why that didn't cut right, but like I say, I made the template from the very first page, or one of the first pages is what I made the template from, and the cut could be off a little on each envelope. I may not have got them precisely at the mark. I mean, just not even a quarter, not even an eighth of an inch can make a big difference when you're working with stuff that's this small. We're going to try to get as much of that corner right there covered as I can without a lot sticking out over here. We got more sticking out the top than we do the bottom, and that doesn't bother me at all. I would rather have more sticking up here than back there. So, but before I glue it, I am going to make sure I get a good strong inking across that base. This time I'm going to get it done right, because it doesn't matter if I get it on this white, because I'm going to cover that up now. All right, let's see. And let's see what this looks like. Oh, yeah, that doesn't bother me. Oh, yeah. That's good. Not my general preference, but I'm certainly not going to throw the book away because it got a little bit of an offcut. All right, so that looks okay. Let's go in and put this last little thing in. Then we've got one little thing we're going to do to this back here. I said, this is your piece that you would be gluing down into your book. The back part will be glued into the book, and all the flat part at the top. I'll show you that in a minute when I get this in. And you would know the last one wants to give you a hard time. Isn't that the way it always goes when you get down to the final part of the race, as we say? It wants to kind of give you a little bit of a gap problem here. We'll flip to make sure we're flipping all the way. No. Let's see. Make sure we got a good flip here. Good strong close. There it is. All right. And we've got a little bit hanging off right here. Don't know why. Like I say, you know, the envelopes all got cut up at different times, so they're all not exact. This is how it is when you're hand cutting. So you're not going to have total precision. At least I've not got that good. Some of the other girls in this industry may be that good now, but I'm not that good. I do never have perfection. And I really wouldn't want to. The little quirks that you have in your work is what makes you unique. That's my opinion, but I'm sticking with it. All right, next step. All right, we have got all the flaps done. Okay, this is the part that's going to get glued in the book. All this here will get glued in, as you see. So there's nothing else to do to this part, with the exception of making sure it's going to lay flat. And I do kind of press it down one more time, but we've got a good flat lay, and I got a little bit of looks like a little bit of a twist right there. So I'm just going to take my finger and try to work on it a little. It's not major. It's not enough to worry me, but it might worry you, so I will tell you it's there. But all you usually have to do is come in here and pull it to where you want it, and then just really press that top edge, and that usually straightens it out, and it pretty much did. All right, what we're going to do with this piece here, this would actually be when they flip it up, you don't want that left blank. So what I am going to do is make a pocket here with this piece. But to do that, I need to put it on a piece of cards. Yes, I got a piece here big enough. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece of 110-pound cardstock, because I want to sturdy this journal card up right here. This is pretty much the size of a basic journal card, but it was cut to the size of that green mat down at the bottom. Okay. So we're going to glue this as such. We're gluing it. Okay. I'm going to put it on the paper all the way down. You want this glue flat, like so. All right, now just throwing things again. Overlook me. All right, I don't like that. See that? Just jump right back up to bite me. Make sure these corners are down. Okay, try again. Then we're going to cut it out, of course. Cut it out as carefully as you can. And like I've always told you, if you're cutting, you can kind of slant your scissors this way, and you will kind of cut up under that edge a little, and that way you don't have white showing out, usually. Okay. I'm going to ink this. This is my front part of my pocket. This is the back part of my pocket. This is the part that's glued to the book. Okay. Now, one more step. I lay this down, and I look at my card, and I just kind of get it middle way between my lines there. I come find my middle mark, approximately, which looks like it's right there. So there's my pencil mark that you cannot see very well because that ink is so dark. We'll manage. And I'm going to take my round punch and make me a thumb notch right there. So there's my thumb notch for my pocket, and we're going to ink that back up. Okay. Now you can make this deeper if you want, but I'm actually going to probably put a journal card in here with a pull tab on it, most likely. Will be how this ends up. But again, along this edge, glue this piece at the three sides, and put your finger where your thumb notch is. Do not glue anywhere up there, just along these three sides right here. I'm going to come in a nice fat bead of glue. Now, you can do it either way. If you can't do it now because I already thumb punched it. But if you could have thumb punched it on either side. But I'm going to put this down now here and here, and I'm going to make sure it's on that edge. I can trim this edge. I'm going to make sure it's tight on that edge. Make sure we can still turn our book down, so we've got a good there. And this is not all that important because like you say, you're going to glue, but I don't want anything sticking out from behind the waterfall. So I would suggest that you cut anything that's hanging off right there, and I would suggest anything that's hanging off right here you cut off, because you don't want that sticking out. You don't want it seen before they get to the bottom. It's kind of a surprise spot. All right, so guys, that is where we are on this one. We've got 5 pockets, 5 waterfall flaps, and we actually have a pocket in the back. So this is a 6-pocket envelope waterfall, and that's it. We've got it done. Didn't take us all that long. These are something like I can go back now and trim some of this. I didn't get this one inked, that's obvious. But this is what you do at the end, and you go back and you see the areas that you need to touch up, and do what you need to get done. And then my last step on my waterfall, because this is just something I like. I don't like the square edges all the time. Now sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't want a square edge. So I will go back now. I'm going to take my large corner punch right here, and I'm going to punch the bottom corners. I think they've dried enough that I can probably get some good clean punch here. But that's what I'm going to do now. Okay? And that is going to completely finish off our 6-pocket envelope waterfall. All right. I don't know exactly where in my other signatures is going to go, but I've already got one in one signature, so we're going to put this one in the other signature. This is a 2-signature book. This is a 2-signature book, so you wouldn't know that last corner wants to gimp out on me. All right, let's get you level. There we go. All right, guys, you probably will need to go back and just kind of ink those edges. But I don't want to keep holding you up time-wise, because I know y'all are wanting to get hopping onto your own projects. So let's do one more thing. Let's pull out the other signature if I can find my book. All right, this is my paperback journal I'm working on. Here's the original signature. There's the secondary signature. It's already got that waterfall on it. So I think we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to open up the front page here. And this one is going to go on that one. I like it on the pages so the stitching and all shows. Yep, that's the page I want it on. You want to, now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to do a little different, okay? I'm going to, let me look at this. I'm going to move this one down a little. This one is solid closed. I'm going to put this one right here, and I think I'm going to make that a pocket right there for a great big tag. So I'm only going to glue right on this edge all the way around. That's the thing you can do, make things different. And I'm going to glue that just along the edge. I've got a really heavy little bead of glue there, because you do want it to stay down. And we're going to look at this, and we're going to make this one into a, so I'm bringing it further down to the bottom, trying to make sure I'm on the paper straight. Okay, let's move everything out of the way so we can get some flat surface here to work with. There you go. Now we can see it better. Okay, now we're going to take our blade here and press. And I'm going to flip it over and press. So now I have an open pocket here when this adheres good. Got to give it time to dry. So right there, now I'm going to be able to put a tag, long tag in this one. Okay, so that's the difference in that one. Let's get her put back together. Let's do, because I have already trimmed these pages, and if you get them out of order, then they got pieces sticking out. So it's trimmed up and ready to go into the journal. So guys, this is Nana Kay telling you thank you very much for watching. I hope if you're new to my channel, you will subscribe. If you have not already subscribed, even if you're not new to watching my videos, please subscribe. Please watch my videos all the way through. Comments also help in my algorithm, so please make sure that you, if you can, make me a little comment. At least let me know you're watching. And we are almost to 500 subscribers. When we hit 500 subscribers in our channel, we are going to celebrate by starting a day during the week that I give away a freebie digital to people who are subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. Also, inside the description of this video, you will find all 4 of my links: my Etsy link, my coffee link, my Buy Me a Cup of Coffee link, and my Nana Kay Designs link. Are all there. Go in and register on all those if you want to keep up with me, because there's different content in each one of those. They don't always have the exact same content. And coffee and Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and coffee will be the 2 places that probably I will be posting the freebies in. So go in and let me know that you've registered, and I will see you again on the next video. This is Nana Kay saying thank you. Hope you had lots of fun and have a blessed week. Bye-bye.